Well, welcome back, everyone, to CBS 3 at 4. And right now at 4:30, we usually bring you the very latest headlines. But today we are doing something a little different regarding the gun violence epidemic that is plaguing our city. Now, the death toll, it continues to climb. But one organization in North Philadelphia is doing its absolute best to help stem the tide of violence. The Beat, the Clock program. It is under the leadership of Pastor Carl Day.
It's a paid program where the young man can make upwards of $500 a week, achieving both personal and career goals. The training includes everything from getting a driver's license to getting a job. There's also a little basketball. In these desperate times, I went to the heart of North Philadelphia to shoot some hoops and search for hope. An attempted robbery turned into a shootout.
Still no arrests and a shooting that caused chaos.
Philadelphia police are searching for this group of kids who brutally beat a 73-year-old man.
It's getting crazy right now. It's really a lot of danger.
With all the gun violence, it's just hurt on top of hurt on top of hurt.
Gun violence has been an issue since I was a kid.
What's going on out there in the streets?
Killing kids at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Not taking action and not getting involved in solving the problem created this monster.
We just want a different narrative, and it starts with our kids.
All we're seeing is nothing but, the violence. We're not discussing solutions enough.
Let me first talk about the solution crap. That's one of the biggest hustles. When you hear a son man say, well, you talking about the problem, you ain't talking about the solutions, that's a polite way of him saying, shut up. Shutteth uppeth. Solutions. There are no solutions. Well, you're not talking about the solutions. The solution is to do a sweep and lock up all the violent offenders and keep them in there until their court date. Bring in a tough on crime prosecutor. Bring in some heavy-handed judges that know how to swing a gavel. And protect the law-abiding citizens. That's the only solution. And we're so far away from that. Our country, the zeitgeist of the country is in the actual diametrically opposite position. So therefore, there are no solutions.
All we're seeing is nothing but, the violence. We're not discussing solutions enough.
Day after day, many young black men wake up fearing they've lost a friend or a loved one to gun violence, and that they too could become part of a disturbing statistic. There have been close to 300 homicides to date, and young men like these have been hit the hardest.
A lot of kids don't got no guidance, so they just going off what they see, and it's a lot of crime right now, a lot of the laws.
You lost 3 friends. How old were they?
13, 16, and 15.
Can you tell me what happened?
Gun violence.
I hate that they told us that term, man. Gun violence. No, it's not gun violence. It's a son man snuck up on him and shot him. In broad daylight, most likely. Not no gun violence. Gun violence is a term that's going to be used to sanitize this. It's going to be used to hide what's really going on. You're not going to be able to see. You can't see nothing past gun violence. It's the gun. It's the gun and violence. The gun was being violent. It's almost as if a ghost. It's almost like a tropical storm. What happened, man? Tropical storm, man. Like, no. This is not a tropical storm. This is not a natural disaster. This wasn't a natural disaster, man. There's more to the story, man. And we're going to use, I fear that we're going to use gun violence to just hide and protect and coddle our worst and most dangerous criminals in our community by sweeping their activities under the rug known as gun violence.
Can you tell me what happened?
Gun violence.
John, what's happening out here in these streets?
You know, gun violence has been a issue. You allow it to escalate and build up generation after generation. You have a bunch of young kids, many of them fatherless, many of them hopeless because they grow up in communities where there's no much hope.
A lot of them can't plan because they think they're going to die early. When you lose friends at an early age and everything else, and that's just your reality, sometimes you can be so caught up in despair.
One small issue can get deadly. Most of these wars you see happening across the city is a result of small conflicts. If your child is continually going out to these environments, these conditions, you know that these conditions can affect a child and have them being a victim of the environment.
What about your parents or guardians? What did they tell you about the gun violence?
Stay away from trouble. Stay away from it.
Is it easy to do or not?
No. I mean, you don't never know when it's going to happen.
Stay away from it. While they stay in the neighborhood. Stay away from it. How can you stay away from it? Now, there are a ton of programs, but the kids in those programs are the same kids in the streets. Like, this kid look like a sweet little kid, right? Those 3 friends that have been killed recently. What do you think he's up to, man? What do you think he's into, man? You think he's a saint?
No. I mean, you don't never know when it's going to happen.
He being a black man and a big black man, it's the stereotype.
Oh, so he's being stereotyped for no reason at all. You know, this part really frustrates me, man. Like, I'm stereotyped too. I'm a big black man. I understand though. I'm not acting like I wonder why. Of course I know why. Because dudes that look like me of all sizes will fight at Disney World. Will come behind the counter over a bag of chips. So if I'm one of the big ones that look like that, yeah, man. And I got the whole swag. Of course, I'm going to be stereotyped. But you got to understand why. When you look at the murder victims and the murder suspects in Philly, they're almost all Sun people. Almost all of them. I mean, look at this. Stereotype. And we know this girl. This is the one who was killed by the guy who got bad that he went to the sports bar, tried to play pool, but they were having a pool tournament that night. And all the tables were being used for the pool tournament. So instead of saying, oh, wow, I didn't know that, man. Thanks, man. I'm going to go to the other. Is there any other pool halls around here? Oh, the one across the street? Oh, okay. Thank you, man. I'm going to go over there. Instead of that, he went out, got his car, stood in the parking lot, and fired 15 shots through the window of the establishment and killed this girl. And you talk about stereotypes. You know this kid. This is the kid who was unloading groceries with his dad. There was one more thing that was left in the trunk. He went out to get it. It was a case of waters. When he went out there, some Sun teens who had just tried to carjack a woman across the street minutes before came, carjacked him, but he didn't have the key. He was just getting something out of the trunk. So they killed him right there in front of his house. And you talking about stereotypes. Look at this. This isn't a stereotype. These are facts. This is what it is. This kid, Samuel Collington, the Temple University student, he was woke. He was into all the social justice stuff on campus. Walking back to his apartment one night, robbed and killed right in the middle of the street by a 17-year-old who was out after two prior carjackings the previous month. A string of robberies and carjackings. This kid's on the street to kill Sam Collins. 17 years old. This is not a...
Me being a black man and a big black man, it's the stereotype. If I don't smile, a lot of people might think I might try to mug them or, I'm this mean person. So I always have to walk around with a smile. I believe with the gun violence, I think there's not enough resources in our communities. I work at a school. We look at schools in the suburbs. They have those resources for the kids. They have those parks. They're super clean. The recreation centers are clean. We have to have memberships to be there.
Let me debunk everything he just said. The parks in the suburbs, what he's talking about is the glider neighborhoods. That's the code word for glider neighborhoods. The parks in the glider neighborhoods are clean. Well, not in Kensington, but other glider neighborhoods that are not in the city, right? So, the parks in the glider neighborhoods outside of the city are clean because the people keep them clean. The rec centers are clean because the people keep them clean. And could you imagine trying to charge Sunmen a membership to get into the rec center in the hood? That's asking for Ben Crump and Al Sharpton to just pull up on you. That's asking to get roasted on social media. That's asking to be out of a job, whoever's in charge of that. You kidding me? Charge Sunmen a membership to get into the rec center? Then who's going to be in charge of telling us, hey, sorry, man, you can't come in. Who's going to be that guy? You have to have a robot do that job. Have a robot just, sorry, you cannot come in, son, man. You don't have a membership. And then if the robot gets shot, you just repair him. Send him to the shop, man, to the body shop. And you can't have a person doing that job.
In our communities, I work at a school. We look at schools in the suburbs. They have those resources for the kids. They have those parks. They're super clean. The recreation centers are clean. We have to have memberships to be there. When you come, to the inner city, the parks aren't really clean. The courts don't look good. The resources really aren't there for us. And a lot of these kids don't have nothing to do.
I choose home where things start. I agree.
I agree wholeheartedly. Definitely starts at home. We need to hold home accountable.
Not only parents, but everybody should be accountable. But obviously, if you're a parent, you have a greater sense of responsibility.
Why should everyone be accountable? Why should the woman getting off of her job, working the late shift, who got to sweat bullets as she's waiting for public transportation to get home, and just praying and hoping she don't run across no sun teens? Why should she, if she don't have no kids out there, or her kids are grown, why should she be worried about this? The glider that's just, living in his part of town, minding his business, and the sun teens find out through word of mouth that it's sweet over there, man. They got money, man. They be slipping. They don't be on their P's and Q's. They go out there and terrorize those neighborhoods and carjackings and home invasions. Why do they have to be accountable? Why does everybody have to be accountable? Except for the criminal. He's the only one that doesn't have to be accountable, because he can use excuses. The parks aren't clean. The rec centers aren't clean. There ain't enough resources. They don't charge memberships at the rec center. But all the rest of us, we got to be accountable.
Starts at home. We need to hold home accountable.
Not only parents, but everybody should be accountable. But obviously, if you're a parent, you have a greater sense of responsibility to be involved in your child's life, to understand what they're going through. The saying is, it takes a village. And I still believe that. It takes a community to really keep these young men and young women on the right track.
Schooling is very important. I know as a kid, when I was around 14, 15, I wasn't really too adept on school. I didn't really think about it. I had other things to worry about. You can have fun while you're at school. Don't try to be somebody you're not. That's what I felt at. I didn't get to graduate because I wanted to be a knucklehead. Now I look back, I have a kid now, and I'm like, how am I going to set an example for my son if I didn't graduate?
I got involved in gun violence at 13.
What way?
I was shooting.
You were shooting?
Yeah.
Wow.
13.
And how'd you get out of that?
Thankfully, I survived enough years to get locked up. I don't think prison is a solution for everybody. I spent almost 5 years in prison, but it wasn't until my faith, as a Christian, that was the thing that really began to change my life.
How do you make sure you stay out of those places?
Not being around being around a big crowd. I keep my crowd small.
You just...
Oh my God. He said, man, there's more than 3. I will not be. Yeah, you know my motto. I make 3. So when there's more than 2, I got a shoe. I make 3. But hey, man, I give little bruh said, man, where there's more than 3, I won't be, man. That's a place I will not be.
Not being around being around a big crowd. I keep my crowd small.
You do?
Yeah.
The game action you see on this court is just part of a game of life skills program. The Panetti Rec Center in North Philadelphia is just a small facet of a huge directive. Pastor Carl Day makes it work. You're doing some good things, and it's showing right here how important is this for you to mold these young men for the game of life.
It's huge. We have young men 18 to 24 out here literally, peer-to-peer with kids that are 12 to 17. And we've been working with these guys that are 18 to 24, man, helping them to build up their lives, especially rehabilitate them from a lot of what they've had to endure and experience growing up, and take those experiences and turn it into better.
It's the only program in the city that's paying them top dollar to help them get their lives together.
To the parents, man, it's everything. Just being able to have that assistance and have somebody, a positive man also to help add to the child's life.
Oftentimes, these young men don't feel valued, The community doesn't make them feel valued. Media doesn't make them feel valued.
Now I've done several videos on this brother right here. I still got to push back on that, man. It's not the media's job to make you feel valued, man. And they do make us feel valued. Listen, you can't turn on your TV You can't watch a movie without some odd, like forced placement of some Sun Man in it. Like it'd be like you watch commercials, you're like, they could have done that commercial without a Sun Man in it. Like our music is top 40. Hip hop is or drill music is now top 40. It's not rap over here and Yo MTV raps in certain stations. Rap music is top 40. We're everywhere. The Oscars, slapping people, Disneyland, having brawls. Many of the most famous people in this country are Sun Men from areas just like this. LeBron James, Will Smith, 50 Cent, and the list goes on and on and on and on. All the old drug dealers got documentaries and movies and biopics. The media is doing a great job of putting out what we asked them to and what is real, because that's us.
Oftentimes, these young men don't feel valued. You know, the community doesn't make them feel valued. Media doesn't make them feel valued.
The two biggest things that we have to do is love on them like ridiculously.
Okay.
I mean, radically love on them, just to remind them that love really still lives here. Because that's a tough pill for them to swallow. They think that it's nothing but darkness. But also beyond that, the second thing is convincing them that they still have a lot to live for.
My advice for them is watch who you hang out with and do what you love, no matter what people say. I promise you it'll pay off.
Find you something to do. Find you a passion, something that you like, something that'll consume your time and make sure that you're being the best person that you can possibly be.
Watch your surroundings.
Watch your surroundings.
Stay in school.
Stay in school. And give me one more.
Keep up your grades.
Keep up your grades. My man.
Man, I really like this kid, man. My God, man. I really like this kid. Logan Scott, 13 years old, man. And you know what I'm about to say, man. You know where I'm going with this. My God, man. Listen, man, we all got our own path to walk, man. And everybody talk about prayer, man. If your prayers work, some of y'all living in the storage bin, man. Don't pray for if you live in the storage bin. But those of you that dreams are being fulfilled, and when you pray for something that happens, man, I really hope this kid's he's wise, man. This is a wise little kid, man. I hope, man. God, man. You can't. This is where the liberal in me comes out, man. You can't save all of these kids, man. You can't save all of them. But please, if there's a white family out there, man. I know y'all saw The Blind Side, man. Half the NBA and NFL, man, was raised by glider families, man. If there's a Glacier glider family out there, man, that got an extra room, man, I implore you, man, call CBS Philly and get Logan Scott's contact information, man, and adopt this young man, man. Help this man have a future, man. Get him out of the Get him out of goddamn Philadelphia, man. Do a good thing, man. Come on, Gladys. Y'all say y'all allies, man. Where all my allies at?
Watch your surroundings.
Watch your surroundings.
Stay in school.
Stay in school. And give me one more.
Keep up your grades.
Keep up your grades. My man. Repeat after me. Shout it out. Shout it out. I am. The future. The future. I am. The future. The future. The future. The future. It is now. It is now. It is now. Now. On family on 3. 1, 2, 3. Family. Hey, yo. Shooting this way for a solution. That's what Beat the Clock aims to do. To learn more and even suggest other solutions you might have, visit CBSPhilly.com. By the way, this Friday there is a gun violence prevention camp at Ben Franklin High School. It's part of a national convention taking place in Philadelphia to help curb violence among youth. Help save our city. The future is right now. Won't you help?
Yeah, that was a great story.
Every one of those kids.
Yeah.
They want to make a difference.
Absolutely.
And hopefully it's contagious and go down the line.
And you hitting them so young and talking to,
That's where it starts.
to those
That's
young kids
where
so
it
young.
starts.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah, beautifully done.
Thank you. After a break.